Next, we're going to add Python code to our plugin so that we can actually export DXFs using QGIS. Where we're going to save the code is in the savedxf.py file that's located under the app data roaming QGIS, QGIS3, profiles default Python plugins savedxf. Phew, quite long, isn't it? So the savedxf.py, let's open that up. Now, the only thing I have installed right now is Notepad, so I'll be using Notepad. Some people use Notepad++. I like that as well, but I'm just going to use Notepad in this example. And the code we're going to be adding to this savedxpy is found on your exercise files, 5, creating plugins. And in the Python folder, I've got 3 text files. One is called imports, one is called load dropdown, and one is save as DXF. So the very first one we need to add is the imports. So if we go ahead and open up that text file, so I'm going to put them right beside each other so we can see. We have this imports. We have to add 2 libraries that we need to add to our Python. The first library is the QGIS core library, and then the GIS GUI library. From the core, we're going to add the project and the vector file writer. And from the GUI, we're going to use the message bar to let people know that everything imported right. So let's copy these 2 lines, the from QGIS core and the from QGIS GUI, just copy that. And I have a note in there that says place it beneath the QGIS Qt widgets import action. So that's right here. If you notice inside the savedxf.py file, I said put it under the import Q action. So let's just hit enter right there and paste those 2 lines. So now I have those 2 lines inserted. Those are the libraries I'm going to need. Okay, good. That's our first step. We can close the imports text file. Let's go back into the 5 creating plugins /Python folder. The next item we're going to do is load the dropdown. So this is 3 lines that we use to populate the dropdown box with all the layers currently in QGIS. So let's take these 3 lines. So the first one is clear the combo box. Now remember, when we created the GUI in Qt Designer, we left the combo box as its default, which is combo box. If you renamed it for any reason, you're going to have to change it here. But in this case, since we decided to just leave the defaults alone, the combo box is called combo box. That's what we're doing. So first thing we do is take the combo box and clear the contents of it. So it's blank. Then we get the list of layers in the QGIS project. So we use the QGIS project, grab an instance, get the layer root. So basically that looks at the legend and get all the children, meaning all the different layers. And then what we do is we loop over each of those layers. So we go get the layer name for each layer in layers and add those items to the combo box. These 3 lines clear the combo box, grabs the list of layers from the current map, and populates the drop-down box with it. That's all it does. And remember, again, combo box is all we called it. If you renamed it for any reason, you've got to change it here. So let's copy those 3 lines. And then it says, note, place above the show the dialog in the def run self function. Okay, so what happens is when this py runs, there's a function in here called def run. The def run, basically that's a function that runs when we run the dialog box. So what we want to do is put these 3 lines where? Above the show the dialog. Oh, there it is right there, above the show the dialog. So let's just paste them in right above the show dialog. So there's the 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. So we have the clear the dialog box, then we have get the layers, and then we populate the layers into the combo box by looping over each layer in the list of layers from above. And we put the name in the combo box. So now remember, it has to be indented correctly, because if you don't indent it as part of this run, it breaks out of the flow. So what's very important with Python is that these indents mean a lot. The spacing means a lot. For example, there's an if statement here, and then there's a colon, and then these 2 items here are called underneath that if statement. And then the indent goes away. That means the if statement is over. So the same thing with this function called run. Basically, it says everything that's indented underneath that run is part of that function. So it's very important that it's indented perfectly with the rest of this function. So now we've got it when it first runs, it'll clear the combo box, grab the layers in the current project and populate them. Okay, excellent. So we can close the load dropdown.txt. The last item is the actual process of saving the DXF as a file. So let's open up that text file. And this actually has quite a few lines in it. And it's part of the if result. Now, if I flip back here, you could see if result, that means if something happens, if OK was pressed, it says do something useful. Those 3 lines will be replaced with what's up here because you see the pass, that's what we're going to replace inside the if result. And remember, it's going to be indented, like I said. So what happens here? Well, first of all, I grab the file name from the MQGS file widget and we get the file path up above. So what happens is when I pick on the widget as a user, I'm going to say where to put the DXF file, and I'm going to get that full path and save it as a file name. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what's selected in the combo box up at the top, get the current index, and then the selected layer will be the layers list, and then we're going to say the selected one in that dropdown so that we have the layers function up above. So we have the list of layers, but then we're going to say whatever one that's selected, get that layer. So now that we've got the layer and the file name, then we can actually write as a vector format. So we'll say the selected layer up above from the combo box, the file name DXF, we'll say UTF-8, that's how it's encoded. The CRS is going to be whatever selected layer is. We're going to export it as a DXF, and we're going to skip all the attributes because the DXF is mostly just line work anyway, so we're going to skip that. And then when that processes, we're going to actually do one more thing. We're going to go into the interface and go into the message bar and put a little successful note saying it's been saved and here's where it's saved to. And so let's take those and the pass as well. So we'll take all those lines, copy them, and replace it inside the if result. Just hit paste right in there. And notice it's all lined up within the if statement. And in fact, the pass is the last thing of the file. So let's hit File Save. So basically, that's all the code we need. Starting from the top, we added the core and the GUI libraries. Then midway inside of the run, we populated the combo box with all the layers in the current project. And finally, when they click OK, we get the file name, get the selected layer in the drop-down box, and then we write it as a DXF. And finally, we say success and put a little note in there. So make sure this is saved. And now we'll try it all out. Let's open up QGIS. Actually, it was already open, so I'm going to close it and reopen it. You have to do that after changing the code. So now that the code has been changed and everything's updated, the save DXF files is saved. So I'm going to close that, and I'm going to close all the files that we have open. And the first thing I'm going to do is go under 5 creating plugins, go in the data, and I'm going to add 2 layers to my map. The bike routes, and yes, it's UTM zone 10. I'm going to pick the very first one, and I'm going to throw in the truck routes as well. Maybe I'll make the truck routes a black color. So I'll go into the styles. Let's make my dialog box a little bigger here so we can see that. There we are. And I'll make that maybe black color. Okay. Hit OK. So you'll see that the bike routes are orange and the truck routes are black. There we are. So let's run our tool, DXF. And look, it automatically in the drop-down box has the 2 layers. As you know, with the Python, it's getting all the children inside the layers, so bike routes and truck routes. So I'm going to export the truck routes, and it's going to ask for a DXF location. I'm just going to put on the desktop, so I'll browse to the desktop, and I'll just call it truck.dxf and hit save. And you'll see that truck.dxf will be saved from the truck routes, and I'll hit OK. And you'll see, yeah, saved. There it is in the menu bar up there. It showed where it is. And just to prove the point that it's there, I'm just going to start a new project, discard the old one, and I'm going to drag and drop from my desktop that truck.dxf to show you that it was successful. And sure enough, there's the truck routes as a DXF file. So you've seen successfully adding all the Python code to a pre-existing empty plugin that's stored already on the project. Now to distribute this, you can simply take that whole directory and give it to someone else who's using QGIS. And you've successfully created a working Python plugin that exports DXF files.